Don't waste your money upgrading to the new PS Plus. And before I jump into it all, I want to let you guys know that this video is sponsored by me. Yes, I have so many links down in my description for any PS5 accessory you might need. How's it going, everyone, and welcome to PSReady. This is the weekly news roundup, so I go all around the internet. I find 5 of the biggest stories from the world of PlayStation, and I bring them to you right here. So in addition to the topic I just mentioned, we have Days of Play's return, the first PS5 bundle, a big Death Stranding leak, and an even bigger leak related to PlayStation and PC. It's a huge episode, but before we get into it, I gotta do the classic YouTuber thing and ask you to subscribe to the channel. I just hit 90,000 subscribers here, which is amazing. There's only 10 to go to 100. I really want to get there. So if you're a regular viewer here on the channel and you haven't hit the red subscribe button yet, help me out by clicking it down below. All right, so shockingly, the PS5 has been out for over a year and a half at this point, and while Microsoft has already released multiple special edition controllers, a special edition Halo Infinite themed Series X with a controller that you can't get anywhere else, and they also have the Series S being on sale as well, Sony has just sold the original disc unit of the PS5 and the digital unit of the PS5. They're trying to get as many of these basic units out as possible and into people's hands and out of scalpers' hands. I appreciate that strategy because doing different editions and stuff like that, diluting how many consoles you're actually able to sell and getting people even more excited to scalp these things, not the coolest thing to do when they're this hard to get, Microsoft. But as time has gone on, we have seen some improvement in terms of how hard it is to get a PS5. I'm not saying it's at the point where you'll be able to just walk into a Target and actually be able to get one just yet, but we are approaching that point. I mean, we're seeing that with the Xbox Series X. You can go into Best Buy or Target, and it's pretty reliable that you'll actually be able to find one if you time it right with their restocks. Online, on the other hand, it is a whole lot easier to get a PS5 than it was, say, a year and a half ago, but still, there is work to be done. And so Sony is splitting the difference here with yet another PS5 bundle. We have seen one for Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Those sold out almost immediately, and now that Horizon Forbidden West has been out for a little bit and it's the latest big exclusive for the PS5, they are making a limited amount of bundles that are being sold in the UK. So you can get a PS5 and a copy of Horizon Forbidden West, and you'll also get a copy of Astro's Playroom. And while yeah, it is a packing game that comes with every PS5, it's pretty much the best packing game of all time, or at least since Wii Sports. It feels like an awesome action platformer that's on par with some stuff we've seen from Nintendo on the Switch over the past few years. I loved Astro's Playroom, and honestly, I would buy a $70 full version of a platformer featuring that character because it's so much fun. And there actually is an extra benefit to getting this bundle because it's packing in Horizon Forbidden West with the PS5, and if you do the math, you're saving around £20 in the UK or $20 in the US if it ever does become available here on if you just bought a PS5 and then bought the game separately. So that's pretty cool because they did increase the price of PlayStation games this generation to $70. So now you're getting Horizon Forbidden West for $50 to go along with your brand new console. I'd say that's a pretty good deal. And as we talked about last week, we are seeing the additional colors of the DualSense and the new plates that you can get for your PS5 shipping out. So maybe, just maybe, we are going to see some sort of special edition at least around the corner. I would assume for holiday season this year, we know we're probably getting The Last of Us remake. It would be awesome if we also got a special edition PS5 to go along with it, or at the very least, some special edition Last of Us remake plates. I would love to have that PS4 Pro's design, which was Ellie's fern tattoo, come over to the PS5 and have it etched in to black plates. That would be just absolutely phenomenal. But if you're over in the UK and you're still in the market for a PS5, maybe try and get one of these bundles. They could be easier to get because they are a little bit more expensive than just the console that people are selling online for way too much money. Next up, let's talk about Days of Play. This is like the big summer event that Sony does every year where they put physical items and games on sale on the PlayStation Store, and you can get some pretty good deals on games that you haven't picked up yet. So this started on May 25th. By the time you see this video, the sale will have been going on for at least a day, which is pretty cool. So if you already picked something up, let me know what you picked up down in the comments below. Now, the kind of funny thing is they haven't actually announced what games are going to be on sale digitally at the time I'm recording this video, but by the time you see it, the sales will already be active. But they have announced some of the physical sales that'll be going on over at PS Direct. If you're the kind of person who's not about the new PS Plus and you want to get some physical games, these are all on sale right now, starting with Demon's Souls, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, and the Neo Collection. And on top of that, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Horizon Forbidden West, and Gran Turismo 7. So if you want to head over to the PlayStation Direct store, a bunch of stuff is on sale right now, like Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Sackboy: A Big Adventure on PS5, and if you're still on PS4 or you want to play these games on PS5, The Last of Us Part 2 and Marvel's Iron Man VR bundle will be on sale as well, and you'll be able to get some discounts on the White, Midnight Black, Cosmic Red, Starlight Blue, Nova Pink, and Galactic Purple DualSense controllers, which is pretty cool. So you can get those on PlayStation Direct, and some other select retailers are doing it too. So I would assume Best Buy, Target, Amazon, all of those sites will also participate in these discounts. And then finally, the PlayStation Gear Store will be offering 20% off of select items for the duration of this promotion. So starting on May 25th, if you spend $50 on the store, you can get a free insulated beverage sleeve too included with your purchase, which is kind of cool. And then on May 26th, so today when the video launches, you'll have a buy two get one free offer on God of War items. And then finally on May 27th, it looks like anything with the PlayStation shapes on it will have 5 under $5 offers. Traditionally with this event, you can also do challenges to earn DLC and other avatars, maybe even themes for your PS4 if you're still gaming on the last gen console. It's just a fun event that Sony does just to make a normal sale on a bunch of digital games seem like a little bit more fun than it usually is. I love summer events in gaming, stuff like Solstice of Heroes and Destiny, of course, Days of Play. Back in the day, Xbox used to have like Summer of Indies or whatever it was called, I forget what it was called, but PlayStation had the exact same thing, and they would do some pretty cool stuff. Like they would have a new game coming out once a week for 4 weeks, and if you bought each game, you would get a discount on the next one, which was kind of cool. And if you bought all 4 games, you would get a coupon you could use in the future on the PlayStation Store. I wish Days of Play would kind of bring that vibe back, because the PlayStation 5 generation has not had nearly as great sales, like digital sales, like discounts on the store, as we got in the PS3 and PS4 generation. I just wish we could go back to that, because it was cool when you get the extra discount for PS Plus on the store, and you could get games like Hotline Miami 2 for cheap. Next up, we have to talk about these Death Stranding 2 leaks, because of course, everything leaks these days, but this one is coming from kind of a trustworthy source because it's Norman Reedus. So he was recently doing an interview and he was asked about Death Stranding, and he told the story of how he met Hideo Kojima, and then he said, yeah, I just got done shooting some stuff for the sequel to that game, which is starting production just now. And everyone kind of just did a double take at that interview. Like, what? The sequel? This hasn't even been confirmed or even talked about by Kojima. They're doing a sequel to Death Stranding. And then things got even crazier when Kojima himself tweeted out a picture of him, I guess on set of The Walking Dead, holding Negan's bat over Norman Reedus on his knees. And he said something like, join me in my private room, which to a lot of people just confirmed that, yeah, Norman Reedus leaked Death Stranding 2. And that's awesome. You know, Death Stranding was a cool game. It got pretty solid reviews, nothing incredible, but it was innovative, it was different, and it was a ton of fun to play. So at the end of the game, I really wanted a sequel, and the director's cut was even cooler. So yeah, I'm glad to hear they're working on a sequel to this game. And as far as what they can improve on, of course, the driving definitely could use some work. There was a racetrack mode added in the director's cut, and that really just like put a spotlight on how rough the driving is in this game. The car you get that's kind of like the 4-wheel SUV that's suspended off the ground a little bit, it sort of felt like driving on the moon, and the same thing goes for the reverse trike. Knowing that Bend Studio made an open world zombie game that has a motorcycle as the main form of transportation in the game, I would love to see Kojima Productions team up with Bend Studio to figure out how to get that reverse trike to feel a little more weighty. That could be pretty cool. Also, more of a focus on the combat. I know they tuned it up a little bit for the director's cut. It was definitely better than it was in the original game, but it still wasn't quite there for me. The fact that you have to have multiple guns instead of having multiple clips, just weird stuff like that, I feel like could be ironed out. And yeah, of course, they need to include the Monster Energy promotion. They took that out for the director's cut, and that was kind of the funniest meme in the game, that Norman Reedus could go, or Sam Porter Bridges as his character is called, could go in his private room and chug a bunch of Monster. I always just thought that was kind of funny. It gave the game a little bit more personality. Now, a reason I've seen a lot of people be a little disappointed about this is because one of the big rumors we've been hearing over and over again the past couple weeks is that Hideo Kojima could be working on Silent Hills with Norman Reedus once again, as it was revealed back in the day in the PT trailer. But if he's already working on Death Stranding 2, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. But to me, it doesn't really matter so much, because even after playing like a few hours of Death Stranding, it was very clear that whatever Hideo Kojima wanted to do with Silent Hill, a ton of it made its way into that game. I mean, it deals with stuff like ghosts, it deals with stuff like going back in time, it deals with themes of death and loss and being disconnected from other people, a lot of the same stuff that Silent Hill has dealt with over the years, but just molded onto a completely different open world game that felt like a cool true successor to Metal Gear Solid. Knowing that Metal Gear Solid was awesome in the first game but then got even better with the second game, I'm just absolutely stoked that we are getting a sequel, and I wonder if this one's going to be produced by PlayStation Studios. They were famously not very happy with the overall sales of Death Stranding. Even though it managed to sell a ton of copies, it wasn't up to the caliber of a lot of the other first party stuff that Sony was doing. But still, if this game is happening, I would assume they have some ownership over the IP, and I would love to see them give it a little bit of a cash injection to make it an even bigger and more fine-tuned open world game than the first one, because if it plays and looks exactly the same, then I don't think it's going to be worth making a sequel. But yeah, knowing that the Days of Play sale is going on, I'm sure Death Stranding Director's Cut is on sale, and you should check that game out if you haven't played it. It's really fun. Now we get to talk about one of my favorite topics related to PlayStation, the future of PC gaming. So we know that it's been going well porting these games over to PC, because not only did they buy the studio Nix's to help them port more games over to PC, which is great, they also created a new internal company called like PlayStation on PC or something. They even grouped all of their games together on Steam. They're really committing hard to getting their games over to PC. I love it. And it looks like they're pushing the investment even further, because a new job listing is giving us some pretty solid hints. So right now they're looking for someone to lead and evolve the PlayStation game experience roadmap for all game related experiences, including PlayStation Network platform integration. Now that gets me really excited, because if you've been watching the two host videos my friend Ray and I do here on PSReady and over on his channel Xbox Ready every Saturday, one of the things I've been talking about is the biggest issue I have with these PC ports is I already played these games on PlayStation. Days Gone, basically 100% of that game on PlayStation. I even got pretty far into a New Game Plus, so when it came out on PC, the idea of starting from scratch really didn't seem enticing to me. Same thing with Horizon Zero Dawn. I got pretty damn close to the Platinum Trophy in that game. I played the DLC, and then again when the port came out, I was like, man, it would be a great time to start a New Game Plus with all the stuff I already earned, but you can't transfer your save. And then God of War was a little bit different, because I feel like that game is so fine-tuned to start from scratch. It's still pretty fun because of how good the story is, but still, if I had all the unlocks from my PlayStation 4 playthrough where I did stuff like beat the Valkyrie Queen on the second hardest difficulty, that'd be a great way to replay the game, and it would get me excited to buy the game again, which I think is the most important thing on Sony's end, right? Like, they want my money, but if they can get it twice, they want it even more. So if they're hiring someone to help on this internal roadmap to get the PlayStation Network on PC, the first thing my mind goes to is cross saves, and then second is trophies. Being able to log into my PlayStation Network account and earn trophies by playing these games on PC would make me even more likely to pick them up. And when you think about playing these games on the Steam Deck, that basically turns it into a Vita too, like collecting trophies in handheld versions of PS4 and PS5 games on the Steam Deck. It doesn't get much better than that. And if Sony could figure out a way to partner up with the Epic Games Store, because they own such a big chunk of Epic Games, or if they could find a way to partner up with Valve to make it so you could log in or at least connect your PSN account to your Steam account and earn trophies in games that are third party, not made by Sony, or second party, which were produced by Sony but not directly made by them, and collect trophies in those games for your overall PlayStation account, that would be pretty damn cool. There's so many possibilities here, and I would like to see them continue to explore it. The other thing I would really like to see is a much shorter wait between these games coming out on PS5 and PS4 and then PC. I know we're waiting over a year for a lot of these games. It would be awesome to have Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut, for example. We already got the Death Stranding one, but that's because it was published by someone else on PC. God of War Ragnarok would be another good one to see sooner rather than later, because we just got God of War 2018 on PC, so being able to follow it up with the second game just a little bit later in the year instead of like a year down the road, that would be awesome. And knowing that GT7 is a live service game and so many people are playing a similar game, Forza Horizon 5 on PC, how awesome would it be if Sony came in and disrupted things by releasing Gran Turismo 7 on PC. That would make the community even bigger than it already is. Man, playing that on the Steam Deck would be awesome. It honestly brings me back to playing Gran Turismo on the PSP. Now that was a ton of fun. Either way, I'm glad that these PC ports are going well to Sony, and I'm even more excited that they're committing even more resources to the endeavor. So now that the dust is settled and we know at least a selection of the games we're going to get when PlayStation Essential, Extra, and Premium launch in just a couple weeks, I think there's a very specific person that these higher tiers are for, and that person is someone who skipped the PS4 generation. Game Pass has a similar issue, and the way that they've tried to combat it over the past year or so is by making sure they have big AAA releases coming out every few months, and then with Halo Infinite, that kind of ended, which was super unfortunate because we had some big games to look forward to, like Redfall in the summer and Starfield later this year. Without those AAA games, there have been a ton of people on Twitter all weekend long talking about canceling their Game Pass subscription because it's all indie games and the AAA stuff on there is games they've already played. Over on the Sony end of the fence, no matter which version of PS Plus you buy, you're not ever going to get day and date AAA games, or at least from Sony. You're never going to get those first party games. So for people like me, who just like with the PC releases of these games, have played all of these games as they come out on either my PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, while the big selection of games we're getting is largely really good in terms of the titles that are coming along with it, I just really have no incentive to upgrade past the essential tier of PlayStation Plus because it's just a bunch of games that I already own on my PlayStation account. And unfortunately for Sony, fortunate for me, the icing on the cake here that made me not really want to upgrade my PS Plus subscription is the fact that you can buy these digital classic games a la carte. I know they said some of them are like a selection of them, select games, however they want to word it, are going to be purchasable a la carte, and if you already bought them before, you'll be able to download them. I think that's not going to be as big of a factor as it seems like, because it's probably just Sony covering their ass in case one third-party publisher like Square Enix doesn't want to honor the purchases that have already been made. Then Sony can just sit there and say, well, we did say it was only going to be a selection of games. We never promised that you'd be able to get all the digital games a la carte. But being able to download these things to your PS5 is awesome, and I own so many of the games that I would want to play on the subscription service already that instead of subscribing and downloading them as they come, I really don't have to subscribe. I just have to wait for them to get added to the PSN and download them from my account. So upgrading my PS Plus from Essential to get those classic games really wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Going back to Days of Play once again, something that would really make me more keen to pay the $120 and just get a year of PlayStation Plus Premium is if Sony looked back to what they were doing in the PS4 generation. I mean, they could even do something as simple as just give you $10 off of new game purchases. So something like Horizon Forbidden West or God of War Ragnarok, you know, these games that are coming out on PS5, those could be $60 for people who have a PS5 and PS Plus Premium, or games that are still coming out and costing $60 could be $50, which would be a great incentive for people to pay that $120 up front. That would make the subscription worth it because you know you're not getting day one exclusive games for free, so you're going to be buying all of your first party games either way. I'm sure that with how many games Sony releases in a year, that $10 discount would add up over time, and it would probably encourage more people to buy more games. And I've even seen some craziness going on, I think in Indonesia, where people who stacked a bunch of PS Now, assuming that it would upgrade to PS Plus Premium whenever that launched, realizing that they'll have to pay the upgrade fee for all the years that they've stacked already. Like they can't even go back and just buy a cheaper version of this PlayStation Plus. I don't completely understand how the math works out, but I've already seen some people freaking out. So in my mind, the people who really should upgrade to PS Plus Extra or Premium are the people who have never played these games or don't own these games digitally already. Like if there's a ton of new stuff you haven't played there, it's kind of a no-brainer to upgrade, because even if you took some of these older games that are discounted to like 30 or 40 bucks, it would add up pretty quick to $120. And at that point, why not just pay the subscription price and download them straight to your console and not even think about those individual purchases? I don't know. I think Sony, as time goes on, will figure this out. I think they do have a good start here, but for right now, I think for most hardcore players or people who are watching this channel, you might want to wait and see how good the games are before you jump in and pay $120 for PS Plus Premium.